Hi folks, John with the Wingman 115 channel. Thank you so much for checking in. As always, I am just pumped. I'm amped to be back out into the woods. We had a little bit of rain yesterday. For folks that don't know, SoCal has been in a drought for a while now, so any little bit of rain we get is just awesome. But you guys didn't come here for a feel-good Dr. Phil moment. You guys came here to talk about the Condor Bushlore. Now, what makes this knife a little bit different is that I built the handles on this blade. So we're going to talk about that. It's all coming up next on the Wingman 115 channel. So I'm really excited to talk about this. First off, we got to talk about the genesis of how this all came about. I was at SHOT Show a few years ago, and I was down in the Condor booth getting ready to do a booth review with Joe Flowers, and we were just chit-chatting. And I asked Joe, I go, it'd be nice if you guys would just do some knife blanks. So if folks are into arts and crafts, if you're into woodworking and such, you could make your own scales, your own handles for some of your knives. And he grabs me by the shoulder and he takes me over and he goes, oh, you mean these? And he shows me the Bushlore and the Kephart, and they're just knife blanks. And I was like, wow, I was like a kid at Christmas now, because I'll give you a little bit of backstory on me. Years ago, I had a really good friend. He was a Bataan Death March survivor. And that's for another story time. Awesome story, by the way. And he had a wood shop. So, make a long story short, I apprenticed with this guy for 4 years in his wood shop, making all sorts of stuff. Jewelry boxes, we made urns, we made flag cases to honor vets that had died and such. And I learned a lot in that 4 years working with him in my spare time. Kind of stepped away from it for a while, and when I saw these blanks, I was like, man, I gotta rekindle the fire and get back in the game, because I like doing that stuff, but there's only so much time in the day. So fast forward, I searched the internet. I'm waiting for the release. Took forever because I'm like a kid at Christmas, just trying to wait for these things to come out. Then one day on Amazon, I'm just searching, cruising along like nobody ever searches Amazon, right? And I see him down scrolling on the bottom of the screen, that little screen that shows you like 10 or 12 other products. They're like little teasers. They try to hook you. Well, I saw these and I was like, man, there they are. And they were around 20 bucks. So I bought 2 Bushlores, and they sat for a while at the house, because with life, being a dad, being a husband, YouTube channel, work and such, time got away from me, and then I kind of forgot about them. And then I was going through some drawers, and then I saw the blanks, and I was like, man, I got to get on that. So went down to my wood shop downstairs in my garage, got a little wood shop, bandsaw, drill press, all that good stuff. And I was like, man, I wonder what sort of wood I should use for this, because you gotta be real careful with what you choose. If you use wood that's too soft or isn't stabilized, and what I mean by stabilized, a lot of folks that are, if you're using like birch burl or any other sort of hardwood or even a softwood, if you don't stabilize the wood, and what that basically is you put wood stabilizer, which has like an epoxy base to it, and you'll put the wood in a vacuum, and it just sucks into the pores all that stabilizer, and it keeps the handles from twisting, checking, cracking, doing all that. Because if you baton and you don't stabilize the wood, I guarantee that you're probably going to break the handles. So I bought a little bit of wood stabilizer thinking I was going to use some bird's eye maple, which would have been just awesome. I got a nice piece. But then I looked down in the corner. I have like a little wood pile that I keep for projects. And I had a piece of coco bolo. And it was just calling to me. I'm a firm believer that the wood picks the project. The project doesn't pick the wood. So when I saw just the figure in this wood, I was like, that's it. And the cool thing about it is that coco bolo is so dense that I didn't have to use wood stabilizer on it. So it was a check in the plus column. So got all my gear together because I had previously went online and bought some brass rod to use as pins for the handles. There's a lot of really cool stuff out there on the internet. With a little bit of search, you're going to be able to find just tons of stuff on making knives and knife handles and such. So I went through the process, and I'll insert some photos here where I outlined the profile of the handles on the Bushlore. Then I got on the bandsaw, cut them out, split them. Then I epoxied them to the blank, and then I put the pins in and epoxied them as well and let them cure for a couple hours. And then I just went through the process of profiling the handle. Now, I'm a big fan of the Coke bottle design. I just really like that. In my medium-sized hands, Coke bottle designs fit really well. So I just started sanding on it and just profiling these handles. I'd stop, feel it for a little bit. Took me probably about 5 or 6 hours in an afternoon just playing around, doing little minor details, chamfering the edges, just making it where it was just nice and smooth. And then I got it on a buffing wheel and just started polishing, because these are not lacquered. I just put a little bit of wax on this wood. This wood, if it was lacquered, I mean, I think it would be too slippery for me. So I just used basically a little bit of bow wax, which is basically beeswax, and I just started buffing and polishing, and it probably took me about 2 or 3 hours of buffing and polishing, but I finally got it, and this is the end result. So if you're looking for a project you want to do with your children, your grandchildren, for yourself, you want to give it away as a gift, because my daughter and my son-in-law were out in the garage that day. My daughter's like, Dad, that's my new knife. And I'm like, gosh, I can't even like hang on to it for a day. You're already claiming my gear. You know, if you guys are parents, you know, you understand the struggle is real. But with that said, she's going to inherit all my stuff anyway, so I'm not going to worry about it. But I'm happy with how this came out. And for the price, the blank was somewhere around $20 online. Prices are going to vary depending on where you're shopping. But for the cost of the wood, gosh, I can't even remember back in the day. It might have cost me like $5 or $6 for the wood blank. The pins and such for about, I want to say $35. Guess what? I got a Condor Bushlore that is mine. There's no other copy of this on the planet. Folks can have Coca-Cola handles, but you're not going to have Coca-Cola handles with figure like that. So that's what's really cool. Now, this knife has my own personal mojo on it, and I thought that this would be a great project to share with you folks. Take a kid out there, spend a little quality time doing a project together. I mean, you're going to create memories that are going to last a lifetime. And with that said, folks, this is John with the Wingman 115 channel. I thank you so much for your time and for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care, folks.